Good afternoon and or evening, everyone. My name is James Abrill, and I'm the Customer Success Engineer for Genesis MedTech, where I help clinicians turn surgical video into actionable insights. It's my pleasure to be here to host this webinar for From Recording to Results, Turning Surgical Video into Measurable Insight, and I thank you for joining. Now I do have to apologize if I do look a little tired, as it's 4 o'clock in the morning where I live, but I promise you that I'm fresh and ready to go. We do have a good sized group today, so I'm confident we'll generate some good discussion throughout the call. And so with that being said, I want to start off today's presentation with a quote from H. James Harrington, who's an American quality and organizational performance improvement leader at IBM, who sadly passed away in 2024. And he once said that measurement is the first step that leads to control and eventually improvement. And I like this quote because in surgery we're constantly improving, but a lot of improvement still depends on memory, isolated cases, or subjective feedback. Meanwhile, we now record more laparoscopic and robotic cases than ever, but the challenge is that video alone doesn't automatically create learning. And without a structured way to measure what's happening across many cases, video becomes an archive instead of a feedback system. And this is exactly why we've developed SurgeryView.ai. But before we get ahead of ourselves, today's goal is simple. I want to show you how we can take routine post-procedure surgical video and turn it into measurable, repeatable insights. So here's what we'll cover during the call. First, we'll talk about who is Genesis MedTech and what they stand for. Next, we'll transition into talking about why analytics matters right now and what gaps it can realistically address. And then from there, we'll talk about what SurgeryView.ai is and what it's not. And then we'll go through a live walkthrough of the platform, talk about trends over time, factor analysis, and peer benchmarking, and then we'll leave plenty of time for a Q&A session and discussion around what would be most helpful or useful for your practice, training programs, and or research efforts. Throughout the call, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the Q&A chat, and I'll do my best to get to your question as soon as possible. And with that being said, this call is being scheduled for an hour. So depending on how many questions we have at the end of this call, I personally don't have a hard stop, so if you would like to chat after this call, I'm available. And finally, we'll be recording this call, so a link to the presentation will be provided to you after its completion. So to start things off, let's talk a little bit about Genesis MedTech, the developers of SurgeryView.ai. First of all, it was established in 2019 by a group of professionals and entrepreneurs from the medical device industry, and we're currently headquartered in Singapore with R&D centers across the globe in the United States, China, and Japan. With a total of 1,500 employees worldwide, we have a mission to be a world leader in medtech innovation, creating value with our partners to meet unmet needs. And we pride ourselves on these three different pillars. The first one is developing trusted products that you can rely on. Next one is providing exceptional clinician support. And then finally, adding value to the patient in everything that we do. Now let's take a look at our product portfolios, which are at the core of Genesis MedTech's impact in the global healthcare space. We at Genesis MedTech operate across three primary domains. The first domain is our surgical domain, where we deliver advanced solutions that support minimally invasive and complex procedures, improving both efficiency and outcomes. Next thing is our vascular interventions. So we offer high-quality devices that support interventional cardiology and endovascular therapies. And then finally, we have our structural heart division, which is a rapidly growing area where we focus on life-saving innovations for heart valve disease and other related conditions. And together, these portfolios enable us to serve over 2 million patients annually, which is really a testament to both our scale and our commitment to clinical excellence. As we continue our mission to empower surgeons with advanced technology, Genesis is also proud to offer what we call a truly comprehensive surgical product total solution. And at the end of the day, this unified ecosystem really spans across all key categories in the operating room. First, starting off with instruments like hand instruments like retractors and needle holders, all the way to laparoscopic imaging systems with high definition 4K clarity. We also offer essential access tools such as trocars, along with a full spectrum of stapling solutions, both manual, powered, and also open systems, and energy systems including bipolar and ultrasonic units. Last but not least, we also have our digital surgery products. That includes our surgical robot, the Omnibot, and SurgeryView.ai, which is the reason why we're here today. So now that you know a little bit more about Genesis MedTech, let's shift to the problem that we're all facing. And here's the reality. Video is everywhere, but insight isn't. Across ORs today, more laparoscopic and robotic cases are being recorded than ever before. But the raw material for learning is there, but the actual way that we use surgical video is mostly still ad hoc. We typically pull it for M&M, maybe a particularly challenging case, or even a teaching conference, and that's very valuable. But the issue is that it's very episodic as well. It depends, it happens some of the time for some cases and usually takes a lot of manual effort. And without structure, video becomes an archive, a growing library of files we could learn from, but rarely turn into consistent measurable feedback. And what we're aiming for is the next step, which is turning routine video into a repeatable feedback system where learning doesn't depend on extra time, a special case, or a heroic manual review process. So if we take a look at what's broken today, we see several gaps, and the first gap is that time-based performance tracking is hard at scale. Most surgeons really have a sense of trends. For example, a surgeon might say, my fundoplications feel smoother this year, or this is the specific step where things bog down, or even high BMI cases shift everything. In general, surgeons have these natural intuitions, but proving that over time across 50, 100, or 200 cases is hard. You need consistent timestamps for surgical phases, and you need someone to review video systematically, which is a huge time burden. So what really happens in reality, we typically rely on memory, we rely on a few representative cases, and we miss the patterns that only show up when you look at many cases over time. This is why time-based performance tracking exists, mainly in research projects or occasional audits, not necessarily as an ongoing improvement tool. So at the end of the day, it's important to note that without scale, you get anecdotes, and with scale, you get trends. Gap number 2 that we have is that benchmarking is rare across institutions. So basically, benchmarking is something that people typically want, but it's hard to do fairly across sites because the different hospitals have different equipment, different OR workflows, different staffing models, and training involvement, as well as different patient populations. And on top of that, even the basic definitions can differ. For example, when does a phase start and end? What counts as dissection time? And what's the step boundary? And there's also a cultural barrier. Benchmarking can feel punitive if it's not contextualized properly. If we don't control for case mix and definitions, benchmarking isn't just unfair, it can be misleading. So internationally, variability is expected, and the only way benchmarking works is if we agree on definition and contextual factors. Gap number 3 is the fact that training feedback loops depend on limited faculty time. Video is one of the best teaching tools that we have, but this constraint isn't video, it's actually faculty time. Most feedback typically happens in the OR under time pressure and in short debriefs after a case, but true video review step-by-step with objective metrics only happens for a small number of cases because it's simply too time-intensive to do routinely. So trainees might hear the feedback like, be smoother here, or that step took too long, but it's hard to quantify progress consistently and hard to compare across multiple cases. So basically, the main feedback here is that training doesn't lack cases, it lacks scalable review. So in general, what does good look like? If we were looking for a solution, basically, first we would have a shared language for the procedure, essentially standardized steps or phases that are good enough to be consistent across surgeons and centers. It doesn't mean that everyone operates identically. It just means that we can agree on a framework to measure against. Next, we would have consistent definitions and repeatable measurements. So the metrics mean the same thing every single time, and that's what makes the data credible and also comparable. And then finally, we'd also be able to track measurable deltas over time, not just how long the case was, but which steps drive variability, how performance changes after adopting a technique, device, or workflow change, and also how case factors like BMI, diabetes, or age influence time and variation. And importantly, the goal isn't to create a leaderboard. The goal is to create a feedback loop that supports improvement, training, and research without adding a huge manual time burden. All right, so what exactly is SurgeryView.ai, the reason why we're here today? At its core, SurgeryView.ai is a free-of-charge cloud-based digital surgery intelligence platform that turns post-procedure surgical video into structured analytics. Now, I know you might be thinking, why is SurgeryView free of charge? Ultimately, we want to remove the barrier to entry by making onboarding easy. We can partner with clinicians faster and gather feedback and more effectively, and also improve the platform in the areas that matter the most. We also want to find a way to accelerate learning in a way that is accessible to most surgeons. So ultimately, this is why we at Genesis thought that this platform should be offered free of charge to the public. And here's how it works. Basically, you upload a video from a completed case, and our AI automatically identifies the key surgical phases and steps. And then from there, the platform generates time-based metrics to make the video measurable and comparable case to case over time. So diving a little bit deeper into SurgeryView, let's talk about its core features. And the first thing that I want to mention is that SurgeryView can function as your private surgical video library. This library is designed to be a private and secure library so that it gives you a dedicated place to store your surgical video recordings, effectively making it a surgical video library with free storage that videos don't end up scattered across external hard drives or random folders on your computer. Additionally, you maintain full control of your videos from your personal computer or laptop. This workflow is pretty straightforward. Once the case is complete and the video is transferred to your computer, you decide really what gets uploaded, organized, and also kept in your library. And finally, the library supports sharing and collaboration when needed. So you can share selected videos with your colleagues for teaching, peer review, or feedback without turning this surgical video into this informal send a file around process. And I know we've all been there before. Next is one of the features that really changes the day-to-day usability of surgical video, and that's our AI auto phase segmentation feature. This idea is simple. Most surgical videos are long, and scrubbing through an hour of footage to find one moment is not an efficient use of anyone's time. So with auto phase segmentation, SurgeryView.ai can split the full video into different procedure segments, so you can navigate the operation by phases or steps instead of guessing where things happen. So all this can be done when you're reviewing your video. So rather than asking, where was the dissection or when did we start stapling, you can click directly into that video segment and jump right to it. This makes video review faster, more consistent, and also more practical for teaching and post-operative reflection. One important note is that this is currently available for select procedures. So we currently have hiatal hernia, inguinal hernia, chole, sleeve gastrectomy, and bypass, where the model has been trained and validated. Sleeve gastrectomy is by far our most robust model. From there, it's the next chole, hiatal hernia, and inguinal hernia, and then finally a bypass towards the end. So there is some room that is needed for some of these models, and this is ultimately something that we're going to improve over time. The models will improve over time because we get more videos uploaded. So in short, automatic phase segmentation turns a recording into a navigatable phase-based review experience, which sets the foundation for the analytics you'll see in a couple slides. So next I want to highlight the important part of working with surgical video, and that's privacy and de-identification. So SurgeryView.ai includes an AI-driven extraneous footage removal, which is designed to help reduce the risk of accidental exposure of identifiable information during review and sharing of videos. In practice, this feature can remove or blur frames when the camera is outside of the patient's body, because that's when patient identifiers are most likely to be identifiable or most likely to appear, whether it's the patient's face, labels on a whiteboard, or information in the operating room. The goal here is simple. Basically, we want to make it surgical video safer to use for learning, quality improvement, and collaboration without relying on entirely on manual video editing. Of course, every institution has its own policies and requirements, and privacy governance still matters, but this feature does help add an additional layer of protection so surgical video can be used more confidently and consistently. Another practical feature built into SurgeryView.ai is our general video editing feature, because surgeons often need to turn full-length case into something that's easier to review and teach from or share. These editing tools are designed to be intuitive, so you don't have to export the video, open a separate video editor, and re-upload a new file. Within the platform, you can trim down a case to the relevant segments, adjust playback speed to move across quickly through the routine portions, and also insert clips when you want to build a short teaching sequence. You can also add a voiceover and annotations, which is especially useful for training, highlighting anatomy, key steps, or decision points directly on the video. So here the goal is pretty simple. It's to reduce friction. If you want to create a quick clip for teaching or a conference excerpt or a focused review segment for a colleague or trainee, you can do that directly inside of SurgeryView.ai. So now that we covered a little bit about the library and the review tools, let's shift to the analytics side of things and talk about how the platform turns these videos into measurable insights. So now that we talked about some of the core features, I want to summarize what SurgeryView.ai really is at the analytics level. So I've mentioned, SurgeryView.ai turns post-procedure surgical video into time-based structured insights, and it does that through 3 different core views. The first view is our longitudinal trends section, or longitudinal analysis, and this is your performance over time. So instead of judging yourself off of a single case, you can look at patterns across weeks or months, and it answers practical questions like, am I actually getting more efficient, or is variability going down, and also which parts of the operation are changing over time. The second view in our analytics dashboard is our factor analysis, and this is where we add clinical context to time-based metrics. For example, in factor analysis, we look at things like BMI, age, and also diabetes status, and identify how these factors influence your surgical time, because raw time alone can be misleading. So basically, factor analysis helps you interpret performance by showing how case mix influences operative time and also step-level definition. And then finally, we have our third, which is peer benchmarking. It provides a step-level comparison to cohorts, so you can understand where you're aligned with peers and where there might be opportunities to improve. And the intent here is not to create a scoreboard, it's to provide perspective, identify variability drivers, and also support coaching and standardization. So together, these 3 core views create a repeatable feedback loop, trends over time, context around complexity, and the benchmark reference point. So now that we talked about the core features of SurgeryView, I want to clarify how SurgeryView.ai supports different procedures today. We've built a tiered system because not every procedure is at the same level of AI maturity yet, but we can still provide value at every single level. The first level is level 1, which is video workflow support. And this is available for any laparoscopic, robotic, or endoscopic procedure. At level 1, the focus is on the workflow. You get a surgical video library, video editing, and extraneous video footage removal. So even if the procedure isn't fully AI segmented yet, you can still store, review, and also manage videos for teaching, case review, or research. The next level of support is our level 2 support, which adds phase segmentation and also partial analytics. And at this level, you have the full video workflow tools, but now we also provide phase segmentation and also partial analytics for select procedures. This includes choles, inguinal hernia, hiatal hernia, gastric bypass, and in general, you think of this as AI is still active but still expanding tier. So basically we have enough structure to start measuring and comparing key parts of the procedure. So this is going to add value to your case review. And finally, we have our level 3 support, which is our full analytics. And this is our most mature support level where you get full workflow tools plus full analytics. Right now, that's focused on laparoscopic sleeve gastrectomy, where our models and dashboards are mostly developed and where users can get the deepest performance insights, trends, and also benchmarking. So the key takeaway is this: everyone can use SurgeryView.ai at level 1. And as we collect enough videos to standardize step definitions, we graduate procedures from level 1 to level 2, and then ultimately to level 3. Now, when it comes to adding additional support to new procedures in SurgeryView.ai, there are a few things that we need to lock in up front because this is what determines how fast we can deliver a reliable model. First one is our training data volume. Basically, to build a first-pass AI model, we typically need around 80 to 100 complete surgical videos that are unedited. And the reason why we aim for that number is consistency. More videos gives the model enough examples of different anatomy, surgical technique, pacing, and real-world variability. So if we only have a small handful of cases, the model can look good on a few examples but fall apart in the edge cases. Second, standard step and phase definitions needs to occur. So the procedure needs clear, agreed upon phase and step boundaries. Basically, a shared language for what counts as each step. If different surgeons define steps differently, the AI labels become inconsistent and the AI has nothing stable to really learn from. So, that's important. And finally, the third is scope. We need to really define what counts and what doesn't count for its first version, like laparoscopic versus robotic, primary versus revision, special variants or conversion cases. Starting with a tight scope really helps us ship something accurate and dependable. Then we expand from there once the model is stable. So the key takeaway is this: videos plus consistent definitions plus clear scope are exactly what lets us add new procedures quickly and with high quality. So before we jump into the live walkthrough, I want to quickly cover the general upload workflow. There are ultimately two different ways to share videos with SurgeryView, and the first way is to upload directly to SurgeryView. This is the preferred method, but it depends on your location network speed. We do have some issues in certain regions, but if you are experiencing problems or are sharing a lot of videos through a mass upload, a standard file sharing service such as Dropbox and Google Drive might be easier to use. So if a file sharing service is used, what happens is the Genesis engineers will set it up so that the videos are imported directly into SurgeryView in the backend. Okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into a live walkthrough of the platform. Alright, so this is the SurgeryView.ai platform. Basically, what you're going to do in your browser window is you're going to type in SurgeryView.ai. SurgeryView.ai, and you're going to be brought to a landing page that looks like this. In the upper right-hand corner, there's this usual login. So we're going to click on that, accept our cookies, and then for your first time, you're going to create an account. So I've already went ahead and whitelisted your guys' account, so you can basically just create an account if you guys want access. But I already have an account here, so I'm going to put that in. Let's go ahead and hit sign in, and we're going to click here to continue. Okay, so basically when we log in, you're going to be brought into a home page where you see a list of the top surgery videos from some of our customers. If you click on any of these videos, you can see that these are public videos. Can be configured within the software. By default, when you upload a video, it's actually private, so nothing to worry about there. But you could make it public if you want to basically participate and contribute to training efforts for SurgeryView AI. But basically, when we click on this image, we can see that this video has been automatically segmented. And we can basically click on one of these procedure segments, and then from there, it jumps to that particular portion of the video. Okay, this is our auto AI phase segmentation, and I'm going to show you guys how we can achieve that. So basically, in the upper right-hand corner, to start off a case, we're going to hit the Upload Video button, and we're going to acknowledge patient privacy protection, and then from there, we're going to select a video. So basically, I'm going to select something like this, a Coley video. What you can also do, too, let's say you want to share a whole bunch of videos, you can basically hit Control-A, or Command A, and you can select multiple videos and then hit open, and then from there it's going to upload all those videos. But in the interest of time, just because it's going to take a little bit, I'm going to just use this compressed file, and you're going to see the video upload progress bar. During this video upload progress bar, it's important not to navigate away from this window. If it navigates away from the window, it will cancel your upload. So it's important to keep this open. When it's done, you're going to hit continue. Okay, and then you're going to be brought into a page where you can type in some details about the procedure. So I'm going to give it a name. So this is just a Coley demo. Surgical procedures, a Coley, it's laparoscopic, year 2005. And then I'm going to do a multi-port surgical technique. And then there's some other non-required fields that you can fill in as well about the patient if you'd like. Degree of difficulty, easy, medium, and difficult. Anatomical variance, surprise findings, so on and so forth. You can also upload a thumbnail if you'd like. Okay, so I can basically select something like this and upload that, or we could also select a pre-generated thumbnail image as well. So I went ahead and selected a thumbnail image, and now caution is going to be popped up that says that we're going to be redirected to the notifications page because our AI is going to process the PII detection as well as the automatic phase segmentation. Okay, so this is the notification page, and I've already pre-uploaded a couple of these videos. Okay, so basically what you can see here is that as we zoom in, this is the video that we just uploaded, and there's a little progress wheel that basically defines the AI progress. So the AI is basically confirming the AI, the PII data, and then from there it's going to move into the segment data for the phase segmentation. Okay, it's complete, basically what you can do is click on this continue editing button. Okay, and what you're going to see is basically our PII removal. So here on this video timeline, you're going to see red segments that represents the times when the camera was removed from the patient's body. So there's a segment here and there's a segment over here. Okay, where the camera's been removed from the patient's body. And then from there, you can select either blur or crop. If you want to crop, that would mean that you're going to delete the frames altogether. Or if you want to blur, basically, you're just going to blur the frames, and it'll blur the image so that you can't see what's going on in the footage. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit save. Okay, everything looks good there. You could add more segments if you wanted to. But just wanted to quickly run through this. So basically, we also have our phase segmentation. So our AI split up our video into the different procedure segments. And from there, basically, we can identify the phase boundary or the step boundary by looking at this dot. So each step basically starts and ends at each one of these dots. And that represents these segments here on the right side. Okay. If I want to create a new segment, what I can do is I can hit edit here and create a new stage of the operation. Let's say just call it other. Okay. And let's say I want to do it towards the end, maybe around there. So I'll have that be my start point. Click on my start point on that field, and then my end point same thing, click on that. So we can go ahead and save that if you want, but yeah, you have to type in step name. I'm just gonna put other and other there, and we can save. So there is an overlap of the video times of the segments, so it's not going to let me do that. So, but yeah, this is how you would add a segment if you wanted to either change something that the software detected, or if you just want to add a new segment yourself. When you're done, you can hit save and then submit. Okay. And basically what the software is going to do at this point is it's going to then process the video for the blurring and the cropping and also the segmentation. And then you'll see that everything is fully segmented here. Okay. So here you can also download the video after you make those changes if you'd like. You could also take notes if you wanted to. So let's say you want to take a note at 7:42. You can basically type in hello world or whatever note you would like to leave. And then that is going to pop up during review. Okay, so it helps for annotation. And you can also skip to your different procedure segments here on the left side. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you is our general video editor. So basically here in this content sharing page, what you can do is you can click on one of the videos. Let's look for my Coley video. We could just use this guy. But we'll click edit video, and then we're going to be brought to our basic video editor. So basically here you're going to see we have different options here. We have speed and trim, insert video, insert image, visual effects, which is basically lets you annotate and also draw on the image, and then finally voiceover. Okay, so basically what you can see here, I'll just go ahead and create a segment for the speed. So let's say we want to start off with sections or six seconds. And the 22 seconds as our endpoint, and then from there you can then change your speed, and then basically hit preview edits if you want to see them, and hit save. Okay, and then it basically has a red segment that shows you where you made an video edit. Okay, so you can do that. The same thing for crop and blur. You can also insert video, insert an image, insert the visual effects, and also voiceover. Okay, so that's just a general overview. It's a pretty straightforward video editor. Like I said earlier, this really helps surgeons save time by not having to jump to a different software and then re-upload to SurgeryView. It's actually built in. So let's say we're done with that. We're going to go ahead and hit finalize. And we should be done. So the last thing I want to show you is basically our analytics suite. So we talked about the 3 different analytics pages on our dashboard. The first one's our longitudinal analysis. As you can see, basically you can take a look at your procedures over time. So this identifies your time progression over many cases, a period of weeks or months. And then from there, it also generates certain metrics here at the bottom, such as your average time, your fastest time, slowest time, as well as your median time. You can also jump into a specific step of the procedure. So we're looking at sleeve gastrectomy right now. So let's just see whether or not there's an improvement in my oversewing technique. So basically, this is just the oversewing technique, and you can see that here. So basically, what you can do is also take a look at the progression. And let's say for a single step, you can basically select a single step if you want. You can also filter by time, okay, or do all the time, the entire time. But we also have a factor analysis page where we have age, gender, BMI, and diabetes. And basically the way that it shows is that basically you have your selected data here on the left side, and then on the right side distribution of all the different users in our platform, basically all the videos in our database, and shows gives you something to basically compare against. So we have this for age, gender, BMI, and also diabetes. And then finally, we have our peer comparison section, and this is the last page I want to show you, where basically you can take a look at your sleeve gastrectomies, in this case, step by step. and see how you compare with other peers. You can select your peers here. You can also just individualize a specific step and see how you compare on a specific step. Okay, and if you want to show your totals, you can also show your totals there. Okay, but if you like, you could also download this data. Okay, and this data will be provided for you offline. Okay, so there's really not too much to the platform. That's about it that I wanted to show you. I'm going to jump right back to the slides so that we can wrap things up a little bit, and then we'll have our Q&A session. All right, so now that we've seen a live walkthrough of SurgeryView.ai, I wanted to cover a new feature that's called Surgery Technique Signals. Basically, it's an AI-assisted feature designed to help identify moments in the case where technique may be suboptimal, so surgeons and trainees can review them quickly and consistently. Here are a few things on the surgery technique signals that we're training the AI to detect. The first one is depth perception events. Basically, the model flags moments where the surgeon attempts to grasp an object, such as a suture or a needle, and then misses, which can indicate a depth perception or targeting challenge. The next one is suboptimal needle grasp. So during suturing, the AI evaluates whether or not the needle is being held in the recommended position, which is approximately 1/3 of the distance from the swaged end, to really support control and proper needle drive. The next one is unintended tissue breach. So the software really aims to detect instances where the needle inadvertently contacts or breaches adjacent tissue, for example, the liver, when doing a oversuture for sleeve gastrectomy. And ultimately this helps teams review these moments for technique refinement and safety awareness. So number 4, we also have ultrasonic shear orientation. So for most cases using the ultrasonic shears, the model assesses instrument orientation, specifically whether or not the device is positioned correctly, with the white pad essentially on the lower jaw so that the upper jaw appears on the top view. And then finally, we also have field of view obstruction, which is the feature that flags periods where the operative field is obstructive so that teams can identify when visualization may be compromised. And overall, surgery video critique is being built to streamline postoperative review by surfacing key moments for discussion, training, and also continuous improvement, while keeping the surgeon in control of the final interpretation. Now, before our Q&A session, I do want to quickly bring this back to the real question before we close off this call. And that question is, what do you actually use SurgeryView.ai for? And these are the most practical use cases that we see. The first one is personal technique improvement. This is one of the simplest ones. Basically, using your own case library and analytics, you can spot trends over time and basically improve your surgical technique. And then from there, we have our fellowship training and feedback. The fact of the matter is video is already a powerful teaching tool, but it's hard to scale review. Phase segmentation and step-level analytics make it easier to give trainees structured feedback so progression can be tracked across cases and coaching becomes more consistent rather than episodic. The third is M&M and case review structure. So basically, a lot of reviews are still narrative based, and SurgeryView.ai can help teams anchor discussion around the video with a repeatable structure. For example, what phase, what step, what changed, and also what can be learned, so that case review becomes more objective and also consistent. Fourth, we also have a use case for quality improvement projects across sites. Basically, when you have multiple surgeons and multiple hospitals, it's difficult to compare performance fairly. With standardized steps and also factor context, you can run quality initiative projects that look at trends and also variability across teams. Again, really with the goal to improve and not necessarily punish. And then finally, we also have research enablement. So if you're doing retrospective studies, videos plus structured metrics makes it easier to define cohorts, compare techniques, and also quantify differences. So without having to manually timestamp all these things, timestamp all these videos for every case from scratch manually. So the theme, across all of these is the same. The SurgeryView.ai really helps turn routine surgical video into a repeatable feedback loop for individual improvement, training, program level review, and also multi-center work. And to close, if you'd like to try SurgeryView in your program, we're inviting sites to join a pilot. We keep the pilot intentionally simple by onboarding one clinical champion as the pilot lead. And that champion acts as the organizer, managing the video flow and coordinating with the surgeons. Overall, we are trying to make the experience lightweight for busy clinicians. So from there, basically, we'll set up a direct upload and direct Dropbox workflow or whatever is most suited for your facility. And then next, we'll build an initial library of around 20 cases and run a review session to interpret trends and identify practical use cases for training, QI, and also research. So I'll send you a follow-up email after this call with my contact information, and we can continue our discussion on the next steps. And with that being said, I'd like to open up the call for questions, and we can answer those questions in this Q&A session to finish the call. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here for questions. Go ahead and submit your questions in the Q&A chat if you have any. Okay, it looks like we don't have any questions. So with that being said, I appreciate your guys' participation in the call. Thank you so much for joining. Like I said, I'll follow up with you guys directly through an email. If you guys would like to get started with SurgeryView, I'd be happy to help. But with that being said, I appreciate your guys' time, and I hope you guys have a good evening, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.